You've been thinking about doing a LinkedIn newsletter for a while, so why don't I show you how to do it today? If you're all about leveraging your time, systems, lead generation, and your relationships, make sure you hit the subscribe button. My name's Alisia Krastel, and that's what I share with you every week. And if you tap the bell, you won't miss any videos. Today, I'm going to show you step-by-step how to make the LinkedIn newsletter. So you can do it with me and pause or watch it through and then go create your own. And I'm going to share some tips to help make it simpler, take less time, and be more impactful and get more subscribers and eyeballs on the newsletter. And I know you can do this without being a tech whiz, because you can see here, I have a newsletter and I have over 550 subscribers, 561 to be exact. And I'm no tech whiz, with very little effort have made this happen. First thing you're going to do is when you sign to LinkedIn, it's going to look like this. You're going to click your picture, which is going to take you to your area, your profile. And if you don't have all this filled out, don't worry, I'll show you in another video how to do that. You want to come down into your profile a little bit, and under resources, it'll say creator mode, and that will be off or on. You want it to be on, because if you don't, you won't have the ability to do the newsletters. Go back and hit the LinkedIn square to where you can see start a post. And you're going to click write an article. It'll give you some option. If you have a business account, you want to go on your personal, hit next. And then under this manage button here, you're going to click that and go to newsletter. And I have a newsletter here, but we're going to create a nnewsletter. It will prompt you through your newsletter title. You want it to be extremely simple. How often do you want to publish? Daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? You can do it weekly or monthly. It doesn't matter. There's no penalty if you say weekly, but you missed a week. Do whatever you feel is right. Enter your newsletter description, and then you upload your image, and it has to be 300 by 300, which is a square. You can create it in Canva, but you want it to have your newsletter title in the actual logo. I'm going to go ahead and fill it out so we can do it with you. I'm going to do weekly, and I'm going to say it's the empowered agent. And I'm going to add the description to say strategies for real estate agents to leverage time, lead gen, and relationships. Just what I do. And I just uploaded the image that says the empowered agent right there. I'm going to hit done. Now in the manage section, you'll see that the empowered agent newsletter instead of the simple success tips. And we're working under that. You essentially have a newsletter at this point. So now you can go in. You can do create a new edition. You can hit write article, but probably the way you're going to do it most often is you're going to come here to the main LinkedIn page, and you're going to hit write article, go under your name, and then it's going to take you right to the spot to write an article. Your article is one of your issues of your newsletter, which was confusing to me at first. I was like, I'm writing an article, but it's a newsletter. It's your article, your edition of that newsletter. I want the newsletters to have multiple purposes and impact for me. So I don't want to just write a newsletter just for LinkedIn, just for those LinkedIn users. I want to keep in mind that I'm writing this article for the LinkedIn users and keeping them in mind, but also where can I get traffic to other places that I might be on? And for me, often that's YouTube. I'm going into this newsletter knowing that I want to help support this video. So I'm going to have the newsletter be content that's in relation to this video, and then it will really nicely refer people to watch this video. So I'm going to copy and paste the link. And you can see at the top, there is another graphic that you want to create for this exact edition. You're still going to keep your newsletter logo, but this is going to be a graphic for the top of this issue. You can see my thumbnail that I've already made for YouTube. I'm going to kind of try to keep that feel, but I'm going to take my face off of it. And this is the exact size of what you need for the LinkedIn banner, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels. You can put that right into Canva and it'll create that size for you. So I want to make it similar to that. So what I created was this, and I want to try to keep my content in the middle, because if it is put in like one of the featured articles, which I'll show you, it'll be more square, but the whole box at the top is horizontal. So you want to keep it horizontal, but also make the majority of your content right in the middle so it doesn't ever get cut off no matter how it's shared. So we clicked and we added this top banner. You can see it's asking us if we want to add a credit and a caption, and sure, we do, because we want to show up on SEO as much as we can. So the more information we provide, the better it is. So we're going to say real estate content strategy by Alisia Krastel. You can see from one of my previous newsletters, you want to use what's in your headline and try to copy it or be similar to your actual title in your newsletter. So I'm going to go ahead and put the title here and go real estate agents, make content, make better content. Do you see how I just backed up and I lost what I was doing? Don't panic. If you go under manage and you go into drafts, then you can see what you were just making and just click on it and continue. Because I know I want to refer that video about making better content at the bottom, I'm going to not repeat what I say in that video, but I'm going to supplement it and give them some like different tips or a little bit different angle in the newsletter. And LinkedIn loves bite-sized stuff. One of the hangups I had when I first started doing this is that I was asking, oh, I don't feel like I'm giving enough value. It needs to be longer. And my coach, Judy Fox, who's amazing on LinkedIn, was like, no, LinkedIn is a place where you create a spark and then they go find out the rest of the information. So you'll create the spark. Maybe they'll go watch your video. You'll create the spark and then they'll go look something up. It is just a spark-worthy newsletter. So here's what we've typed out as far as the 3 tips that I was giving in here, and they accentuate my video, but they don't give everything away. You can change the styles up here. So if you want it to be heading or be bold, italics in bold, you want to quote, if you want to have a link, you do all of that through the bar at the top of the LinkedIn newsletter. To bold or italicize anything, you go up to this bar on the top of your article and you can click the style and it'll take it from bigger to larger, make it bold, italics, bullet points, all the things you want, and a link if there's an option, and this is for your picture. So we've already filled that in. You can see it's short, sweet, to the point. I'm going to keep pointing people down to my newsletter so they can read the next thing. And what Judy said is to make sure that they have some visual cues to go, yes, you keep going down, that you really need to reaffirm that. We're going to say, click to watch 4 ways to make your content create clients. We're going to click the link button up top and we're going to add the link that is my video. And we're going to put some text here for the link. You're going to use the embed option up here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the video that I showed you earlier. And now it's going to appear in my actual LinkedIn newsletter. We've got a couple more steps, but let me know, are you going to create a newsletter? Let me know and put LinkedIn newsletter underneath here. And make sure you come back at some point and share your LinkedIn newsletter in the comments so we can check it out. Once you have the video linked in there, you're going to do the timestamps. Put some information here. Here are the timestamps for some valuable tips on how to get your content to convert better. We're repeating back what this is all about, and then I have the timestamps for it. I'm going to link my exact newsletter in there if you want to go take examples and look, but you can see that I do a couple of different things. Like it's not always just the YouTube video. On one, I highlighted some TikTokers that I thought were really successful and had great strategies. So it doesn't have to be a video. It can be wherever you want to point attention to. We're going to put a graphic in here to visually tell people to go ahead and share this. And you can make that in Canva or copy it from somewhere, or put just an arrow. It doesn't have to look like this. That's just through the picture, image, and adding it. So we're going to add the caption here because it asked us, and you might as well for SEO. Alisia Krastel, make content that converts. And I might just make a dash there so it makes sense. We are going to add an additional share, and I'm going to physically write share your best converting content below. So we're going to prompt them to go share something. And by saying share, they may share the actual newsletter that we're on. So we've got all of our pieces here that look good, and see how simple it is. It is not a very long newsletter. You're going to click next. Now it's asking you to go ahead and post it, to publish it, basically to make it live for people to see. So you can go into your newsletter or you can go into your article for your newsletter and type what it's about at the top. When it prompts you, when you hit next, it's going to ask you to put a header at the top. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to put a couple hashtags, not a lot. Simple success tips. That's the name of my newsletter. And we're going to do real estate marketing and real estate content. This is one of the previous ones I did. You're going to see when we post it, it's going to look a little bit like this. We're going to keep telling them to go down and subscribe. And it kind of repeats what is in your newsletter, but very briefly. So it gives them a little snippet and then they want to go for more. And on your very first newsletter, at least, you want to have something in here that says subscribe. Make sure you're pointing them to subscribe to the newsletter and that you're celebrating your first newsletter, because that gets people excited for you and will want to go watch your journey. You can see how I've added a couple of things here we talked about. When we wrote the article and that's going in the newsletter, make your ideal client feel like you're speaking directly to them. It points to the focus on one client, like we're talking to an ideal client. Grab attention immediately and be the only agent talking about your hyperlocal market. Talks about those things, but it doesn't repeat exactly what it says. And then it says dive into these in the newsletter. I'm going to put a little space there and we're going to publish it. Now it's officially published. Woohoo! And you can get the link here. You can copy and paste it somewhere else, or if you want to share it, and it gives you some options to share on Facebook and in other groups. You can also message your network. And one of the coolest things about a LinkedIn newsletter is that LinkedIn works for you. It takes all of the people who have subscribed, and as they subscribe, and let them alert them that you have created another newsletter. So it's almost like having a little assistant for you. At that same time, it's going to publish to LinkedIn, and you just want to go and check and be the first person to comment on the article and the newsletter. So comment below. So I'm going to just put a comment below that says, what content have you made that got surprisingly high interaction from your audience? And we're going to post that. It's always good to be the first person to comment. No one wants to be the first person. And if you have someone who had made a really great piece of content, tag them in there and say, you know, so-and-so is in a great example of this. If you want to start putting your newsletter in the featured section on LinkedIn, I'll show you how to do that in my next video, along with how to fill out your profile properly. Make sure you head to that video so we can get you the attention your newsletter deserves. Make sure you also hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of these videos in the future.